Hey, good morning everyone and welcome to ShortSalePowerHour.com. My name's Fred Weaver. My partner Kevin Kaufman will be joining me in a moment. And we're Group 4610, Arizona's funniest, most premier, controversial, best looking,
most sued
team in Arizona. So hey, welcome guys. Today is Wednesday.
Yes.
July 7th.
It's Wonderful Wednesday on Short Sale Power Hour.
Wonderful Wednesday.
I just made that up.
I like it, Kevin. So yesterday we talked about unemployment, and today's episode we promised we'd talk around home sales.
All right.
So we're going to talk about national figures. And what I want to preface right now is that I don't really look at national figures very often because they're not relative to what's happening where I'm making money.
Market, no.
So it's important that you go and look at your local numbers, and I'll end this episode a little bit later talking more about what's happening in the Phoenix MLS.
Real estate is a local business.
But
it's localized.
Thank you. It's important that you understand real estate.
In fact, I'll go one step further. It's a hyper-localized business.
Yeah. But this statistic here, Kevin, that I'm about to share, it's not like nationally something changed 2 or 3%, 5 or even 10%, Kevin. I'm about to share that pending home sales literally freaking dropped almost off the face of the planet. Like, almost there are no pending home sales anymore, Kevin.
None.
No, that's a little, that's an exaggeration. Let's just say it that way. But I would like to share that according to the National Association of Realtors, Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
Pending home sales fell 30% in May.
30?
30%, Kevin. Pending home sales fell 30% in May from where they were in April. Now, granted, April was the end of the tax credit deadline.
Right.
And what I mean by the deadline, I mean when people had to have their contract executed by the end of April.
Legally had to have the contract.
Legally had to have it executed to be able to qualify for the June 30th tax credit deadline.
You mean September.
Which was then extended by our timely congressman and government
2 days later.
On July 2nd, I believe.
Yeah,
signed by President Obama. So that was great because, I mean, everybody was really able to
way to act swiftly, by the way, guys.
Fantastic. Who else knows what was in that bill? Maybe Martin Andelman will write about that.
Yeah, Martin, do you know what else was in that bill?
Martin, I'm sure you like reading those things, dude, and I love reading what you have to say about them, but I don't have the patience to read one of those bills.
No, not a chance.
Probably, gave,
just going to,
light bulbs to some foreign country or, some discount for using a 20-watt light bulb instead of a 25. Those are the kind of crap that people put in those
bow and arrows to some school in Montana.
Bow and arrows to, Montana, bow and arrow.
I'm not making fun of you if you're from Montana, by the way. That's the first state that came to mind. That's all.
Whatever. So let's talk about this, though, man. This is a real statistic. 30%. Now, that NAR reports stuff a little slow. So we're talking 30% drop from April to May.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened from May to June yet. This just came out in the last couple of weeks. So I just caught your shot there.
Yeah, that's okay.
30%. What do you think is going to happen to the market? Let me ask it that way, Kevin.
Okay, well, I mean, I just want to say that I'm not saying, oh, look at me, I'm right. Fred and I are always right. We predict this. But let's go back and talk. You and I started talking about this a year ago. Literally, this is what's going to occur. When we've been borrowing buyers from the future for the last year.
Yeah.
With these tax credits, with the first-time buyers, and then even with not the first-time buyers, with the move-up buyers.
And when you say borrowing them from the future, what you're saying is these people weren't necessarily going to run out and buy today, but they
when you say, hey, here's $8,000 if you buy a house with 3% down, come buy a house, I'll give you $8,000. Well, then you're going to incentivize people to go buy a house that otherwise would not buy a house. Just like what happened in 03, 04, 05, and even part of 06 when you said, hey, I'll give you a loan if you have a pulse. Well, in fact, I'll loan you $1 million up to 1.30 LTV if you have a pulse and are a janitor worker at a school. I'll loan you that much money. So we borrowed buyers then who weren't typically qualified or who didn't even want to be in the market. Mm-hmm. We're doing it now. We're doing the exact same thing. We're taking buyers from the future. And as somebody who I have a lot of respect for has said, that's okay if you're always going to do that. But the minute you take something away, you've got to expect something. In fact, I'm surprised it's only 30%.
Yeah.
When you take away your caveat that is pulling people from the future, well, you've got now there's a lag time to catch up. And you've got to be able to fill that gap.
So is it fair to say that pending sales are not going to get back to the place they were anytime this year.
Well, I mean,
probably fair to say that.
Not unless they come up with something new.
So that's one piece. We have one piece, which is pending sales are going to slow down.
Sure.
But I believe we have another piece.
Oh, the biggest piece of all is where the prices are going to go.
Which is that inventory is going to go up.
Yes.
So when inventory goes up and pending sales go down, then typically that results in lower prices.
Yeah, guys, and I'm just going to tell you, let me spin this back around to the short sale world. This is,
could we focus on that tomorrow? Would you mind that?
Yeah, because this is called Short Sale Power Hour. So tomorrow we'll talk about how that's going to affect your short sale
talk around
business.
how it's going to affect your short sale business. But there's a couple other points I want to bring up on why I think the market's going to continue to drop. You can go back and watch an episode. I think we did one in like January or February. I know we did one in November. Where we pulled out the Credit Suisse data of the ARM resets.
Not just option arms, but all arms.
Yeah, ARM resets. So if you want to go find some data, go do a Google search for Credit Suisse or Suisse and look for their ARM reset chart. And what you'll see is that as the year 2010 goes on, and even the first several months into 2011, you'll see that there are more adjustable rate mortgages that are going to start adjusting. And what's going to happen when those start adjusting is people are starting to look up and they're going, well,
what am I doing?
What am I doing? I'm now on an adjustable rate. My payment has been this, and now it's going to adjust. Now, to some of those people, their payment's going to go down.
It can still adjust down.
But the point is that
so is the value, though. The value's
going down, and their payment's adjusting, and they're going, well, I don't feel any consistency or steadiness here. I'm bailing. No. So I think what you're going to see now is that more people will strategically default or will find a reason to have a hardship when their payment starts adjusting. Plus, you've got pending home sales going down and active inventory now going up. I literally think we haven't seen the worst of defaults, unemployment, and short sales.
We absolutely have not seen
the worst.
It's coming. This is, you guys, we've had all this fluffy good news.
I don't know where it starts and stops and ends, but the indicators I see say we're going up. So
we've had all this feel good news for the last 12 months while we've been pulling these buyers from the future. Well, guys, now is where, this is where stuff happens, guys. This is what happens. How did we not learn our lesson a few years ago as a country, as an industry? How did we not learn our lesson? We're right back to where we started. In fact, we're going to be in a worse position than we were in 2007 and 2008 from an overall, I'll say, national perspective.
So I'm going to end today's episode just by sharing with you guys some Phoenix statistics. In Phoenix, around the beginning of this year, January, February-ish, we were starting to creep up towards 34,000 and 35,000 active listings on the market. And it was getting to be the high for where we had previously been. And what happened was in March and April, we saw that number go way down. Yeah. I think it may have dipped to 29 or 30,000.
It was down to about 29
active
30,
listings.
Yeah.
Well, I checked that number about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago at most, and it was around 32,000 active. Check that number this morning here, Kevin, and we're over 34,200 actives. And I believe you and I have had a conversation, not on air because we don't honor our viewers in Arizona, but we've had a conversation. I believe that number is going to be 35 to 40 plus thousand active listings within the next 6 months.
I'm just going to say it, we'll be over 40 by the end of the year.
I
know a lot of people don't like that number because it makes them feel good to talk about active inventory going down and the market's rebounded. Guys, you know what? There's a book, it's called Shift. And in the first part of that book, it says, get real and get right.
Yeah.
You guys, it's time to get real. Let's get real.
Absolutely.
Because people have been not real for the last 12 months.
Absolutely. Well, so tomorrow we're going to apply this to what is all this unemployment stuff? What is this, you guys think the market's going to worsen stuff, or just the current statistics of the market has worsened from a pending sales standpoint? How does that relate to your business? Specifically, what does it do to your BPOs, and what do you have to do as an agent to overcome what I'm going to say will be some very bad BPOs? Absolutely. I'll leave it right there.
Yeah, so guys, come back tomorrow. We're going to talk about this data and how it impacts your short sale business and what you're going to need to do. So we're going to wrap it up like we always do. Ready? On 3, 1, 2, just go.
Short Sale Power Hour! Short Sale Power Hour!
Crush it, Phoenix!
See you tomorrow.